Mickey everywhere? Screaming kids? No adult fun? Yeah, we've heard all the myths too. But after cruising with Disney, we're here to spill the truth.
In this video, we're going to bust 13 of the biggest Disney cruise myths and share what's actually true.
Let's dive in. Hey, welcome back. We've got another great video for you guys today. Today we're gonna be Mythbusters.
Yeah, people have strong feelings about Disney Cruise. Either they're like all for it and are diehards, which is how we are, or they just have a lot of thoughts about what Disney Cruises are, even if they've never been on it.
Yeah, and a lot of times those can be based in kind of, let's just say, some myths.
Yeah.
So today we're gonna kind of talk about ones that might be true, ones that might not be true, and kind of get into it a little bit to help you decide if a Disney cruise is right for you. So before we get into the video, guys, if you don't mind giving this video a like, that would be greatly appreciated. You just hit that thumbs up button. It helps the algorithm figure out who to show this video to. And then if you're not subscribed yet, make sure you're subscribed. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell to be notified when... Hit the bell to be notified for future videos, and I think with that, let's get into it.
Myth number 13 is that you'll be surrounded by screaming children.
Oh, no! It's just not true.
Yeah. There are kids in a lot of the common spaces, but...
It is a Disney cruise, right? So you are going to be around kids, that's inevitable. Yes. But there are plenty of spaces that are adults only if you want to get away from kids.
Yeah, you can go, there's adults only decks and pool areas, there's adults only lounges, there's the spa, which is adults only. So there's a lot of nice spaces that are specifically for adults that kids aren't allowed in. And the kids have their own spaces too. There's the kids clubs, and a lot of times the kids clubs are on like their own floor, at least for the younger kids.
Yeah. The kids are probably like, there's too many adults on this ship.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, there's great opportunities for you to be able to get away if you would like.
Yes.
So myth number 12 is that the pools are always just crowded.
Which can be true, especially depending on the time of day you go. On
if you go 12 o'clock on a sea day, I'm pretty sure every cruise line's ship is going to be busy and popping.
Yes, so choose the times that are a little more out of the normal, if that's what you want. Choose also a pool that's a little more out of the way. Yeah. Maybe if you're going during a height peak time, you go to one of the pools on the front or the back of the ship and don't go to the one on the main deck.
Yeah, and this even goes as far back as when you're planning your cruise, because if you know that you're a very big pool-based person, there's going to be certain ships that are better than others for pool activities. So I think it starts even when you're planning your cruise, deciding what ship that you're on to make sure that you don't set yourself up for failure ahead of time.
Yeah. Myth number 11 is that it is all Mickey all the time, everywhere, and he's in your face.
It's just not true. The ships themselves, if you've never been on a Disney cruise, are very elegant. And while some of the newer ships like the Wish and the Treasure definitely have more story-told theming to the ships, a lot of the older ships they're shaped after classic ocean lighters of the past. And so you can even see that in the tones of the ship. And it's not, you have to kind of really, as you're walking around the ship, you have to look for the Disney influence sometimes.
You almost have to find it. So like an example is on the Wish, they have the carpet, and in the carpet is built in like the Cinderella's carriage. Yeah. But those are things that you wouldn't notice if you weren't looking specifically for it.
Yeah, it's not, I think people think of like the Disney parks where it's like everywhere you look there's something Disney, or they're picturing like the hallways being covered in like a Mickey-faced like wallpaper, and that's just not the case.
It's much more subtle.
It's much more subtle. Now in the rooms, like on the newer ships, they have like a backing behind the bed frame that has like a scene depicted.
Yeah, and a lot of the art is Disney or Disney inspired.
Yeah, but it's not just kind of, for a lack of a better way of saying it, it's not just rammed down your throat. Yeah. You really can take it in doses. The dining, I would say, is one of the big areas where you're not going to necessarily get away from it. They're themed dining experiences that have
especially
characters.
if there's one that's a show built in. Some of the other ones that are
a little more subtle. You know, I'm thinking of like Enchanted Garden and there's the
Royal Palace or Royal Garden. Those are all more subtle. There are some, like he said, some dining that are very...
Yeah, Marvel. If you're going to Marvel, you're not getting away from the fact that it's Disney. Yeah. But you can escape it. It's not everywhere. And you're going to kind of start noticing a theme with a lot of this.
Yes.
Number 10, you have to dress up all the time.
Every day.
Every day, you're always dressed up.
All the time.
Everywhere you walk, you have to wear dress clothes.
Which is not true.
I would not go on a Disney cruise if that was true.
That's really true. I actually feel like it's much more casual than any other cruise line. Like even on formal night, because there is still a formal night, but there are still people in like board shorts at dinner, and it's totally fine. It's totally casual. Really, the only thing is like you just can't be dining in a bathing suit, but everything else is like nobody looks twice at it, and it's great.
I remember I've only been on one other cruise outside of Disney when I was much younger, and the big thing that I remember about it was the formal night, because I have never been a formal person or even owned. I remember having to go shop with my parents to find formal clothes for that meal. And I legitimately wouldn't go on a Disney cruise if that was the case, because this is about as dressed up as I get.
Yeah, the only thing I would say is that there is a pirate night on every cruise that is longer than 3 nights.
That's different though. That's fun dress up.
But that is one that a lot of people are dressed up in pirate attire. So that one might be one where if you're not in something pirate, you may feel a little out of place. But they do give you a bandana. So even if you don't bring pirate attire, they give you a bandana.
I always rock my bandana.
Yeah. So that's fun.
Yeah.
Number 9 is that you have to book everything the second that it opens.
This one is partially true. So there's definitely a, let's say, hierarchy to how quickly things get booked, because some of it is based off of your Castaway Club status. So if it's your first cruise, yes, you're going to have a hard time kind of booking like a cabana, for example.
But it also depends on what excursions you do, what things you want to book.
Or even things that you're booking on the ship. Some things are going to have more availability, so more people can do it. People cancel things all the time, so it doesn't necessarily mean that things aren't able to be booked. It just means that you might have to try a little bit harder to do it.
Or look at something different. There are some excursions we've heard from other people that they thought they wanted to do this excursion and they got stuck with a cheaper excursion and then ended up really loving it. So even if you aren't able to book what you thought you wanted to, look around a little bit.
Yeah, a great example of this actually is Michelle really wanted for our upcoming cruise to book us a trip on, it was a snorkeling tour, and it had pizza, right? And it looked amazing. We saw a video of it on YouTube, and we were like, I don't feel like I missed anything there. Like, it's a single... Michelle thought they were making, like, pizza on the boat.
I thought it was like a whole pizza oven on this catamaran, and I was like,
to be fair, that's
so down.
That's how the description kind of reads, but really it's just boxed pizza from a pizza joint.
Well, it was made on a boat, but it's on a different boat, so you have to go to a different boat and pick up the pizza, and you only get like one slice of pizza.
Who's not bitter?
Not worth
Anyways, great example. You can end up with things that you still really enjoy, even if it's not your first thing.
Yeah, or if you don't do excursions, that's totally fun too.
Yeah, we covered that in the last video.
Go look at that last video.
Yeah. So moving right along, myth number 8 is that Disney Cruise Line cabins are small.
Which actually is pretty
completely
false.
Not true.
I mean, you're on a cruise ship. All the rooms are small. But Disney Cruise Line, their standard staterooms actually average about 205 square feet, while other cruise lines average anywhere from 175 to 200 square feet. So, and that few little square footage makes a big, big difference on a cruise line.
It really does. And another thing that helps that is the fact that it has a split bathroom.
Yes, which is very, I think some newer ships are starting to do it from others, but that's very Disney. So there's 2 different bathrooms. One is the toilet and a sink, and one is the shower and a sink. So even having 2 different sinks is really helpful.
And I will tell you, as a big dude, I'm 6'1", but I've never felt cramped in a Disney stateroom. It, like Michelle said, they're not like these massive spaces, but I have always felt like there's adequate space. I can move around the bed easily. The bathroom, the shower, I can get in, I can actually stand, mind you, it's like right here, but I can actually stand under the shower head. So it is bigger person friendly if that's something that you're worried about. Yeah,
I am looking forward. Our next cruise series is gonna have 3 adults in a room.
Yeah, we'll see.
So I am curious how it's gonna feel with that.
Yeah.
Myth number 7 is that Disney Cruise Line is significantly more expensive than other cruise lines.
Sadly, true.
Yeah. However, there's a lot of things that you're paying for. Disney tries to prioritize like that all-inclusive feel, which is why like soda will be free. All of your meals are included and things. There are things to pay extra for. Obviously, alcohol and specialty dining you'll pay for.
Overall, the big difference too that you're paying for is the Disney experience and even the guest service. I would argue, I know that I haven't been on other ships and other cruise lines, but I would argue that Disney probably probably has some of the best, if not the best, customer service in the cruise game.
And we've shared this before. Both of us are former cast members, and so we know the training that goes into Disney guest service.
Yeah.
And so that's always a big, big seller for us.
Yes.
I think Disney Cruise Line too is just more family friendly.
Very.
They really prioritize their entertainment.
It's cleaner. We even talked about this in a previous video about just even the maintenance and the upkeep of the ships. You pay a premium cost, but you feel like you're on a premium ship. The upkeep, the cleanliness of it. Yeah. Every time you get off in port, we've mentioned this before, they are cleaning that ship. So it just makes you feel like your money is being well spent.
Yeah. So we feel like there's a lot of value in that, but we also know that they are not the cheapest ones in the industry.
In the grand scheme of things, yeah. So moving along to number 6, myth number 6 is going to be that the food in Disney Cruise Line is the same as the parks.
That one is not true.
Not even close.
And we're going to kind of break this down into quick service and like sit down dining. So for quick service, it might be typical.
Similar types of foods.
Yeah.
Chicken nuggets, pizza.
Yes.
Burgers.
Yeah.
Hot dogs.
But the cruise line also has the buffet, which is awesome. And just your ability to customize. I feel much more comfortable customizing something that's right in front of me and kind of watching them do that versus if I have to do it on the app in the park and hoping that they get my customization.
Well, and you have to think of it this way too, is that think about how many more people are going to be in a Disney park that they're serving in a day versus the cruise line. The cruise line's still a lot of people, but it's capped.
Yeah.
So the difference in food quality there alone makes complete sense because of the fact that they can take their time. They don't have to push out as many orders.
Very true.
And I think this same thing applies into the other part of this section is about rotational dining and kind of your more sit-down fine dining spots. I think it's the same thing where there's more time for them to cook, and so the food just, in my opinion, tastes so much better.
I feel like it's not even comparable. Like we've been to, I think probably the nicest, we've been to like a Carthay Circle in California Adventure, we've been to the Blue Bayou in Disneyland. Yeah. And I feel like the cruise line, the rotational dining is way better.
It's leaps and bounds better. There's I don't know that if you took a parks person that was diehard parks person and they hadn't been on a cruise, they went on a cruise, I think they would end up agreeing with you too.
And there's always things that you're not necessarily gonna like in a restaurant.
Yeah, that's anywhere, right? But I think overall, the quality is so much better on the cruise line, and even the variety, the amount of the variety that they have in the sit down, and even just the varying levels of styles of food. So rotational dining is going to obviously have kind of more set menus, and it's not as tailored. But when you get into those fine dining restaurants that are like adults only spaces, those meals are absolutely incredible. They're being made by like Michelin star chefs, and it's just on a whole nother level. And it's not to say that you can't find that in the parks, but we just feel like it's a step above on cruise line.
Myth number 5 is that there is nothing to do on the cruise ship if you don't like characters.
Character.
You have to see the characters.
Nothing but characters.
All the time.
Not true.
We've actually done a full cruise where we didn't interact with one character.
Yeah,
like
we saw them, but we didn't get in line and interact with them.
Yeah.
And so it's very much a choice. They're not going to be, you're not forced, you're not forced to interact with them. And the funny thing is, on the flip side of this, if you want to see characters, Disney Cruise Line is a great opportunity to do that, because there are characters and even normal characters that you see, say like Goofy, for example, that you would see in costumes that are going to be so different than what you would get in the parks. Or unique characters that maybe you don't hardly ever see in the parks on the ship.
True.
So there's great opportunities, honestly, either way. You don't want to see characters? Don't. You want to see characters? You can see them until your heart's content. So myth number 4. It's cool that you're going to a private island and all, but it's just for kids.
Yeah, Castaway Cay, there isn't anything to do for adults. Now, there is a lot to do if you're a kid, but there's also a lot to do if you're an adult.
Yes. Serenity Bay.
They have a private beach.
You guys have seen that in, I think, every one of our vlog videos. It is truly, Serenity is the perfect name for that beach, in my opinion.
Yeah. Your own food location at Serenity Beach. You have bars.
Ice cream. Like, you have everything that you would have at the family beach at Serenity Bay.
Yes.
And there's actually food items that you can only get at Serenity Bay.
Ooh, yeah, like you can only get certain steaks and stuff at the Serenity Bay barbecue.
Yep.
So.
And not just that, there's other things to do besides, like, just be at the family beach. You could rent bikes and go on a bike ride. They have the 5K, and actually, is it 5K or is it 10K? They have one of the they have one of the runs that you can do at Castaway.
You can go snorkeling
if you're one of those crazy people. Yeah, you can go snorkeling. There's so much to do. It's not just for kids. Yes, there is a family beach, but there's also places that you can go once again to get away from it.
It's also an island.
Yeah.
So, like, you're not right on top of each other.
No.
There's a lot of space.
No. And even on busy days. Like, we've even been to Serenity Bay where it's been busy and been a lot of people. But the key there, just get off earlier.
Yeah.
Not everybody stays on the island as long. To sum it up, no, it's not just for kids. There's so much. I personally, I'm a grown man. I absolutely love Castaway. I'm so excited. My mom is sailing with us on this next cruise, and I'm so excited to take her there because I know she's going to love it. Man, I just want to party. There's no partying on Disney cruises.
Yeah. Go to myth number 3. Number 3, my lord.
The wrong franchise.
Details. Myth number 3 is that there's no nightlife. And if you're looking for like a douche, 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 or like a casino.
Wait, how's that going again?
A douche, 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 douche. There aren't any of those like nightclubs or anything.
Yeah, there's not crazy nightclubs. There's not going to be a casino on board.
But there is a lot to do at night.
There is a ton to do at night. There's adult-only shows. That's when the Match Your Mate show that I bring up every chance I get happens, is in the nighttime.
There's game shows. There's a silent disco.
There's tons of lounges, adult-only lounges. There's a piano bar. Michelle and I sat in that piano bar for hours the one night. And yeah, there's a lot to do. Now, mind you, there's not nearly as much as what there would be on maybe other cruise lines, but I would argue that if you are cruising with Disney or if you're a Disney fan, the odds that
that's probably not what you're looking for.
That's not necessarily your vibe anyway. Yeah. So I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. It's not. That's actually one of the things that we personally, at least I don't want to speak for you, but that I personally really like is that it's actually more of a family-friendly nightlife. Yeah. I'm not a crazy over-the-top partier, so I'm actually really happy with what's available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Myth number 2. Where am I going to pack all my towels and toiletries?
I gotta bring all this crap.
And that is also false.
Not true.
As we demonstrated, that is false. You do not need to bring your own beach towels.
Yes, Disney actually provides you with plentiful of towels. They even have them for your excursions. So when you get off, they'll either give them to you right before you get off, or as you're getting off the ship, there'll be somebody there handing them out. They have them available. You don't even have to take the ones from your room to the pool deck. There's towels everywhere on the pool deck.
Everywhere.
It's literally like you use it, dry off, and throw it in the towel thing, and you done with it.
Yeah. And the nice thing with toiletries is they have the H2O products in the room.
Yeah, in the shower.
Yeah. And so we've stopped taking like shampoo, conditioner, body wash, lotion, all of those things because they have all of those.
Yeah, it's one less thing to pack.
Yes.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're going to take all of our other toiletries that we need.
Deodorant, toothbrush.
Please bring deodorant.
It's a tight, small ship.
But with like a big bulky shampoo, conditioner, things like that, you don't have to worry about, which is really nice.
Which leads to the next point.
Yes.
To our next video, I should say.
Yeah.
The video coming out next week, we're going to talk about what we pack and bring
what
on
we do
our
pack.
cruise.
Yeah,
what
so
we do pack.
That's a couple of things you don't have to pack.
Yeah.
We'll share with you what are some things you should pack.
Yeah, and what our personal preferences are too. So
stick around for that.
Yeah, make sure you check that out next week.
Yeah, and with that, let's get to our last myth.
Yeah. So finishing out another great video with myth number 1, and that is that all Disney cruises are the same.
If you've been on one, you've been on them all.
Not true.
No, there are so many different varieties that you can have when you are booking a Disney cruise.
It is so mind-blowing.
Yeah.
You could have a different experience just based off of the ship that you book.
Or the itinerary that you book.
Or the season that you book it in.
Or the stateroom that you choose.
Or the people that you cruise with.
Yeah. Or even with your mindset going in. We've done 2 cruises that are the same itinerary and had very different experiences.
Excursions, no excursions.
Yeah.
It's truly mind-blowing how endless the opportunities are with Disney Cruise Line. And what's pretty cool about this too is that Disney as a company with their cruise line part of their company is actually really small compared to some of these other giants. And so the variety that they are able to offer with a limited amount of ships is truly mind-blowing. I've said it several times, but it really is.
They even have different theming. Like they'll have a Marvel Day at sea. They'll have a Halloween on the high seas. They'll have a Christmas time.
Yeah.
So there's so many different options of cruises that you can do that it's hard to get bored.
Yeah, so anybody that says that, I'm having a feeling that they either haven't cruised with Disney or haven't even honestly looked at the options because it doesn't take much research to realize that that's just simply not true. So the whole message of this video, maybe don't believe the myths.
Obviously, we love Disney cruising, and we're excited to keep bringing cruises to you. We have 3 vlogs coming up. One we leave for in literally 5 days.
We're literally counting the hours.
So our packing video that we're bringing to you next week is our legit packing video.
Yeah, it's us getting ready to leave for our cruise because we leave on the next Friday.
Yes. So like we said, make sure that you like this video, subscribe so that you can see that video, and get notified so that you can keep seeing our cruise series.
Yeah, we have lots of other cruises coming up. We have one in July and then another one in October on the Dream. We're excited about that one. So you don't want to miss that.
Yes.
I think with that, we'll wrap this one up. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.